Thompson from the Progressive Action TV show. Now, I ain't want to start the show off by playing no music, but what I need you guys to do, while you guys is tuning in, I need you guys to share out the Facebook, this link to the show. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and get people to watch the video. And we also going live on Facebook and Twitter at the same time. So we stepped up our show. But during this time, I need you guys to share out the video. As I set it up, you notice I'm not playing no music right now because I want this to be very serious. Some things going on. So give me a minute. Let me see. Yeah, so share out the video like I said, and we're gonna get this going the proper way. So there has been talks of what does the NYPD do in New York City Transit, their role in a whole bunch of things, and do they protect workers? Do they hide out? You know, those type of issues, and we're going to talk about it because it raised a whole bunch of questions yesterday when I posted I was sent a picture of some NYPD cops chilling in a female's locker room. I'm not gonna say where, and notice I never said where because I wasn't trying to get them in trouble, but it is of concern to see police chilling while we getting our butts kicked out there on the road. And even passengers, if you had access to the daily events of what happens in transit, there's a lot of assaults, a lot of robberies that happen every day, and people don't get caught or arrested. And it is of serious concern to passengers and workers, you know, alike. Let me make sure that this thing is on Twitter because I was having we live on Twitter too right now. So I want to make this clear because I already know how the haters are. I already know people like to make their own narratives as to, you know, what they want to hear and what they want to perceive. But first and foremost, I do not believe all cops are bad. Cops are people. So just like people, you have good people, you have bad people. Now, do I think that the uniform magnifies some people attributes? Yes, it does. Do I think that the uniform bring out the negative in some people? Yes, it does. And it's normally associated with power. So if you give someone who's not used to money and they start acting different, it's the power of the money or the perceived power of the money that makes them act that way. And it's the same thing I feel, you know, with NYPD. So do I think all cops are bad? No, I don't think all cops are bad. So let's get that out the way. At one time myself, when I was younger, I thought about being a cop, but the reason I didn't do it was because as I started educating myself on the history of police, period, the way police function, the way they go about doing business, it turned me off on, you know, the whole entire thing. So I never wanted to do that because back in the day, and I'm not gonna get too deep. I'm gonna keep this on the surface, and just give a little bit of history. These are my point of views. These are no one else's point of views. So if the police officers get mad that I say whatever I say, it's my fault. It's not Progressive Action fault. It's not transit workers' fault. This is my views and my opinion. Hold on one second. I want to get you guys Facebook comments on the screen. I want to see, you know, Do y'all agree with the things that I say? Do y'all disagree with the things that I say? So give me 1 second. Let me set that up to get y'all names on the screen. Like I said, while you looking or waiting, make sure that you share out. Make sure you share out this live. Let me see 1 second. Where did I send that at? Give me 1 second. Okay. Wow, I can't send it like that no more. Let me see. Give me 1 second. It's important. I want people to see what you guys think, so I have to set this up. Okay. I got to get you guys comments on the screen. Like I said, while I'm doing this, you guys just share out the live comments. Okay. All right. So, yeah, like I said, do I think that all cops are bad? No, I don't think all cops are bad. Do I think that there's bad cops? Of course, there's bad cops because there's bad people. There's bad people that work with New York City Transit. There's bad people that work with sanitation. There's bad people that's correction officers. You can't avoid the bad people. Now, like I said, at one time I thought about being a cop, but like I said, I educated myself on the history of police. The police was basically slave catchers. I don't think that there's no difference than how they act today. They was there to protect the wealthy, and to keep the slaves in check after the abolition of slavery, as they knew it back then. Because I still believe that we are enslaved in some form or fashion. But today, police officers are the bottom feeders of the prison industrial complex. And the reason I say that is because it's like recycling. You have the homeless people or the people who's collecting bottles or whatever. They take it to the machines, and that's what starts the whole recycling process. And I believe that police officers and the culture of police officers in New York and across the states, it's the recycling of keeping people in the system, because there's no bigger business than jails. We all know that. Now, one thing that I do have problems with is not so much the individual cops, but I have problems with the culture of policing, period. The culture of policing is against black and brown people. This is without a doubt. There's no guessing that. The culture is very oppressive. It's to keep us down. There's more people of color in jail than any other race. And what's ironic is that we don't even lead or in the lead of the people that's in the United States. Every day you're reading a story about people getting exonerated after doing 25, 30 years in jail, losing their life to the prison system. And it's because of bad cops. Now, like I said, you got good cops too. But the issue is with this. The bad cops do stuff around the good cops, and the good cops stay silent on it. That's a major problem and issue as to what's going on. Let me put some of your comments on the screen. Oh, just a reminder, when y'all put emojis, the program won't read the emojis. So it's better off just to type what you're going to say, and I'll get it on the screen. So that's the problem. You have good cops being silent for bad cops, and when that happens, everybody's bad, because the good cops are they just not saying anything. Now, you have cops that go above and beyond they call a duty, good and bad, right? Good and bad. But it's always the bad that, people tend to remember. And my experience as a black man dealing with police, that I've come to find out that the black cops that you do come in contact with are way worse than the white cops. And if you ever see a black-white tandem and you find the cop always with the chip on their shoulder is the cop of color. And psychologically, what that tells me is that you have people, these cops, these black cops, they just want to fit in. They think that being aggressive towards civilians, especially civilians who look like them, they think that it would get them inside the good old boys club and the house that the culture is built off of, because they always seeking blacks. My people is always seeking some type of acceptance from people who don't look like them. And it's no different in the NYPD. Now, when they do that, I think that when the black cops do that, they trying to show their counterpart who don't look like them, hey, I'm one of you guys. See, I don't like them either. This happens. No police officer could say that this doesn't happen. It happens. This is fact. This is not a lie. This is fact. Now, I have a question for the cops, because it seems like us as civilians, we don't understand. I guess we don't understand because, whatever reason that they say you guys, that you guys say that we don't understand. I want to know what goes on in the police academy. 6 months of training that you come out of that police academy and civilians don't know anything. So you have cops coming from Ronkonkoma, Long Island, whatever. They coming into the police academy. They have we talking about 21 years old kids coming from Ronkonkoma, Long Island, going to the police academy for 6 months, being stuck in Bed-Stuy, somewhere in somebody projects, and all of a sudden they know more about life than someone that's 35, 40 years old who been living there. What is being taught in the police academy that makes you guys think that us as civilians never know what we talking about? We are always wrong. We don't have common sense. Those 6 months that you guys go through that academy, y'all think y'all God when y'all get out. Y'all think y'all know it all. Untrue. And when you look on Facebook and you have debates with police officers on Facebook, the first thing they say is that you don't understand. You don't understand. Well, let's talk about one of my situations, and I talk about this a lot. What you see on the page right now that just popped up is that I filed a CCRB complaint. That's a Civilian Complaint Review Board, and they basically watch the police a little bit, right? So I filed a complaint with the CCRB because I was basically stop and frisk back in 2008. And it was in my car. They pulled me over in my car. Didn't have no reason to pull me over whatsoever. Cop came to the side of me, flashed his flashlight, pulled over. They looked like cops. Figured they was cops. Look, I wasn't doing nothing wrong. I was just coming from work. Yes, I was driving a fancy car. That's not against the law as a black man. Pull me over. Asked for my license. Pull me out the car. Had me at the trunk of my car asking me questions. It was 3 cops. 2 cops went inside my car and was fondling around with something, and basically it wasn't nothing there. They set me back in my car, gave me my license, and basically left. Now before they left, I had some stuff in the glove compartment, and they didn't put my stuff back in the glove compartment. And I'm like, yo, why you ain't put my stuff back in the glove compartment? The officer response was, you could do it yourself. Now, during this whole time, I didn't see no badge numbers. I didn't see. I barely seen a badge. So as I was picking up my stuff off the floor, I opened up my glove compartment, and my glove compartment dropped to the floor. So they broke my glove compartment. I was pissed. So I went to the precinct, and I didn't know how this police thing worked or they jurisdictions or whatever. So I went to the precinct. This was the 81st precinct in Bed-Stuy. And I said, you know, one of your officers broke my glove compartment. He said what they had on. I told them the description. They asked me, did you have a badge number? No, I didn't. Got a description, gave them the description. They said no cops work here by that description. So I'm lost and confused. I'm like, whoa, hold up. Did I just get harassed by some wannabe cops, some fake cops or whatever? So they didn't really give me any answers or anything like that. So I have plenty friends that work for NYPD, plenty friends, many different ranks. So I made a phone call and I asked them, I told them what happened and was like, yo, I was pulled over by the cops. They broke my glove compartment and they saying that these officers don't work here. They said, look, fine, no problem. Call the Internal Affairs Bureau, file a complaint with the CCRB. So the next day, I didn't go to work. I went to in person, file a complaint with the CCRB. I gave them a description of the officers because I didn't have anything. And it took about a year and a half before I heard any type of correspondence from the CCRB. Now I was keeping up with the CCRB and staying updated with the case, but they didn't give me anything until a year and a half later. They called me and said, hey, we want you to come in. We got the cops who, vandalized your property and stopped you or whatever the case was. So I went there. They had some type of lineup of the cops, and I remembered one cop because he harassed me before, but I couldn't remember the other cops. So I said, I remember this one, but I don't remember the other two. And they said it don't matter. They wrote statements. They told what they did or whatever the case was. So they gave me a paper, and the paper basically this is the paper right here is what you see on the screen. So it's a substantiated of everything that they have done for breaking my property, not searching me, illegally searching me, illegally frisking me, failure to write an incident report. It was a few charges here, as you can see. And like I said, they substantiated the charges. So once I got with a lawyer, I just needed to get with a lawyer to get me my money, because I know that substantiated charges means that they basically guilty. So what I did was, once the charges were substantiated, I got the lawyer and we sued. And at that time, stop and frisk was almost a big issue. And my lawyer said, look, you got something good coming here, because people don't win stop and frisk case. This may have been the first time that someone has gotten anything from a stop and frisk. And he took my case just because. I never forget him. His name was Darius Wadia. He took my case just because. He said, you put in a lot of work. I have never seen this. You're probably only going to get like $5,000, but it's the principle of what had happened here. So make a long story short, the city gave me $16,500 for 10 minutes worth of problems, right? 10 minutes, $16,500. And my glove compartment was only $700 to fix. So I won a substantial stop and frisk case. Now, during this time, I had my police officer friends say, oh, you're not going to win. I had family members saying you're not going to win. I had friends saying you're not going to win. My mother always believed in me. My mother, she was like, it's going to be tough, but, son, I believe that you could do it. I did it, right? So as far as me not talking what I preach, not standing up for what I don't believe in, I do that. I went against the NYPD and I won. So I don't want you guys, you cops out there, to think that I'm talking because I'm disgruntled. I'm not disgruntled. I'm talking facts. And I hope that you guys listen to the show critically and not from a point like I'm trying to bash you guys or something of that nature. So now you have a lot of people saying, oh, yo, the NYPD, and I'm talking about my transit workers. I'm talking about the subways now. Oh, yo, we all are one. We all city workers. We all government workers. We should stick together. Are you people really that gullible to believe that? Do you guys really believe that we all are one? Do you really believe that we all are one? Let's talk about something real quick. The police officers, the people who work for NYPD, do not even believe that they all are one. You have the cops hating the traffic agents. You have the cops looking down on school safety officers. If they don't think that they are one and they work for the same agency, how can they look at a train crew, a cleaner, a bus operator as being one when they can't even find one within themselves? Let's discuss that. Even internally within the NYPD, and this is factual, this is facts right here within the NYPD, that you have black cops that don't feel like they equal to the white officers in their own department. This is a fact. No lies are told here. They will tell you themselves, because what I notice about the black cops in NYPD, they are closet pro-black. A lot of them is not out there pro-black. There's some out there that's pro-black, but they closet pro-black. So they will say, the police culture isn't racist, but within their own department, within their own coworkers, they experiencing racism as officers. Does that make sense? How can a cop tell you, the police culture isn't racist, we have a job to do, blah, 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 but within their own colleagues, there's racism going on? How can anyone believe that we all are one when they aren't one within themselves? Can someone explain that? Another way that they aren't one. Now, a lot of people think the NYPD one whole family and this and that. It's not like that. And I'm gonna speak pertaining to surface cops, which is the cops on the streets, up top cops, and down below cops, which is the cops in the subways. You have police officers who call the cops in the subways lazy. They own colleagues called them lazy. But as soon as a transit worker say it, all hell breaks loose. You want to know why? Because police officers, the culture is all about oppressing people who's below them or think that below them in power stature. So it's harder for a police officer to be superior to another police officer unless it's rank involved. But we talking about regular officers. But even like I said, with the white aspect, the black aspect in NYPD, the white cops give the black cops the business because it's a superiority issue. So forget about the uniform and skin at that point. And the lighter this, the more affluent your skin may be, and I'm gonna use that word affluent, the more power people perceive you to have, right? So there's friction within the NYPD rank themselves. Now I'm talking about the culture. I'm not talking about individuals, because I have friends who are NYPD who would tell me, we all are one and things like that. And I believe them because I know them. But the culture of NYPD is not that we all are one. The NYPD are for themselves. The NYPD. That's it. That's it. Patrick Lynch, as a union guy, I think that he does great, but the things that he defends, black officers, I don't understand how you guys go along with that. He defends the culture of NYPD killing your people that look like you. For somehow you go through a 6-month academy and they separate your spirit from your soul and who you are and make you forget who you are as a person to make you think that you're one of them. And it's funny because, I asked my police friends, like, how give me an example of how, blacks are treated differently from, whites and NYPD. He said, look at something as an officer fall on hard times, right? If this officer falls on hard times, this black officer falls on hard times, he would get less donations money wise than as if a white officer was to fall on hard times. He's getting thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, that cop will probably get $1,000. The black cop would get $1,000. The white cop would get probably like $4,500. Facts. To all you police officers out there, you guys know what I'm talking about. This is factual. This is facts. Now, they all talk about unity and all this other stuff. I want to bring up this guy right here. And like I said, I'm not going to get too deep on his topics or whatever. But this is, he's a lieutenant now. His name is Edwin Raymond. He was one of the police officers who supported Kaepernick. And as a result of him supporting Kaepernick, and because we all know Kaepernick fight, it wasn't for the flag. It wasn't to disrespect the flag. It was to bring attention to police brutality and black oppression. Edwin Raymond supported that. And what did the NYPD do? They punished him. They made him a target. The culture of NYPD do not want people of color standing up for themselves. So what did they do to this brother? They penalized him. And not only did he talk about the cap issue, he talked about the quotas, the broken windows, all of that. The police department for years said that there wasn't no such thing as quotas. That was BS. Police officers police different in affluent communities than they do communities filled with people of color. I worked in Park Slope for 10 years. Those people out there was riding their bikes on the sidewalks. They was openly drinking. The police didn't say a word. Not a word. A couple of neighborhoods over Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, if a teenager is riding his bike on the sidewalk, he's being taken off his bike is being taken to the precinct, he's getting some type of ticket, they confiscating everything. It seemed like it's two different police departments policing how they see different communities and neighborhoods. We know that. That's a fact. That's a fact. This is not nothing new. But you have cops, good cops, who know what's going on, and they stay silent about it. Why? Because they want to fit in with their white counterparts. Yes, there's black people in the department now. There's Hispanic people in the department. Yes, there is. But at the top, who controls this? That won't change. There hasn't been a black police commissioner, I believe, since Dinkins was mayor, right? That's an issue. But you guys, and when I say you guys, I mean you cops, the good cops. That's where I start weighing the scale to be like, are you guys really good? Because y'all cover for the bad cops. It's just like being a lookout. If my friend, he go robs a bank and I'm I'm the lookout. I'm just the lookout. I'm just as guilty as him. I'm not good. I'm just as guilty as him. And that's where we have to start having a conversation about good cops, bad cops. Because my view on good cops are changing because you guys aren't saying anything. And then y'all come to our communities and tell us to snitch and this and that. But you guys never tell on your own people who do wrong to people who look like your mother, sister, aunt, cousin. Y'all stay silent on that. I gotta put up this poll. Gotta put up this poll. A poll go let me see something. A poll should pop up on y'all screen. Let me see. Oh, I can't even show it. But the good cops covering for the bad cops. That goes on everywhere. And that's why the police department is falling apart now, because people are waking up. The integrity of the police department is falling down because the good cops covered for the bad cops. And I believe that there's a lot of good cops, but now you guys are going to pay the piper. Y'all just lost I think there's some charter thing with the CCRB. Now the CCRB has more power over you guys. That's because you guys allowed that. The good cops allowed the bad cops to thrive, and they messing it up for the good cops. This is what's going on. Now, they keep saying that we won or whatever the case is. This is Edwin Raymond again. It says cop probed over claims he let domestic violence suspect walk for being black. If you speak to Mr. Raymond or watch his post on Instagram, you will see that he mentions that he was set up by his own coworkers. His own coworkers were setting him up because he talked about the racist culture of NYPD. The racist culture. They made him a target. They targeted him. Y'all got to stay tuned in because I ain't even get to the transit relationship yet. I ain't even get to that. I'm just talking about them within themselves and them talking about we all are one. Yes, there's individuals that do see us as one, but the culture of NYPD doesn't see it that way. And you have cops who's upholding that culture, and nothing is being said. But how can Mr. Raymond speak about truths and injustices that affect people that look like him? How can he be targeted for talking the truth? Furthermore, why isn't his following bigger than what it is? Why aren't the people who look like him supporting this man? Getting behind this man, because you guys all know that it's true what he's saying. He's not saying anything wrong. He's talking the truth. Why the people who look like him is not supporting him? Why? Because you guys are scared. You guys are cowards. Facts. You guys are afraid of the system that you work for. You are afraid to become a target. You are afraid to be ostracized. You guys are dangerous because you will watch someone who you know you work with is racist. You will watch them kill, mishandle someone who looks like you, and you will remain silent. Why? Because you are afraid of being a target yourself. Cowardness. Mr. Raymond is a good cop. And I say that he's good because he's standing up for things that he believes in. And once again, I'm going to say this. I do not believe that all cops are bad, because I know you guys love twisting things out of shape and things like that. I believe that there's cops that stand up. But there's more good silent cops who cover for bad cops than there are good cops who voice their opinion and let their colleagues know, hey, you're wrong for doing that. In fact, have you ever heard a cop in New York City say that you guys are wrong? You was wrong for killing that innocent black man. You was wrong for choking Mr. Garner out. Who's telling Pat Lynch that, hey, former Chief O'Neil made the right decision to fire Pantaleo because he did choke that man out after he said he couldn't breathe? Now, if someone would have choked the cop out that same way and that cop would have died, they would have got 25 years to life. They would have never seen the streets again. So how come we don't get that same exact rapport? That same exact respect? Because the system is racist, is built against us. This system isn't for us. And the black cops who's in NYPD, they are foolish if they think that they are part of them. You would never be a part of them. I seen you guys and you guys Facebook groups crying, complain about how the white officers treat you guys and how the white officers do that and how the white officers say this. But you guys police by that same culture that they hate you guys by. Y'all come to our communities, the same communities that you grew up in, the same communities that your parents grew up in, and you apply that same culture that they hate on you in the precinct into our communities. You guys are cowards. Go along to get along. Soft. Cowards. I never, transit workers complain all the time. I never seen officers complain so much. They complain more than us. And once again, not all cops. I'm talking about the cops who's probably feeling the way about this video right now. If you feel the way about this video, then I'm talking about you. I'm definitely talking about you. You guys need to share this out, man. Invite people to this live because we're going to talk, and I'm going to get a call on the phone, a union rep on the phone, and we're going to talk once we get to the transit issues. Now, oh, by the way, we are live on Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, we're going live multi-platforms because this is big. We need to have this conversation right here. You guys got to stop being a part of scared of retaliation. They said if you don't stand up for something, you fall for anything. You black cops are falling for anything. Just to save your ass. Selfish. Right? Now, let's talk about police officers on the job. I'm going to say this again. There are cops in the subways who do what they got to do. They do their job. They do their job. They out there, they showing face. They talking to the train crews, making sure we are right. They asking us questions. And, you know, they doing what they have to do. But you have them few bad cops that like to hide out. This is factual. We not go keep it 100. We go keep it 1,000 today. You have the police officers who like to hide out in our break rooms, in our locker rooms. They take naps. I got videos of that. Now, you police officers say, you know, Tramel, you should get us in trouble or whatever the case may be. If I wanted to get you guys in trouble, I would have banged y'all in a long time ago. I have a whole folder of pictures and videos of cops knocked out in locker rooms. That's not a part of the job. Who you think you fooling? But I understand. You know, we all work for a system that Well, I won't even say you guys, man. You guys got the power. Y'all can handle yourselves. But my transit workers, we can't do that. Right? But you guys are knocked out in locker rooms, sleeping in break rooms and little hideout spots in the subways in the system. Wow, us transit workers are getting our ass kicked throughout this system. And you have cop apologists who work with us saying, oh, the police, they get tired too. And, this and that. They are here to protect and serve. Their uniform alone will deter crime. A police officer sleeping is no good for me or no good to me at all. This happens. Now, other cops know that this happens. Instead of them telling, look, transit workers out there, they are getting brutalized. We are getting spit on every single day. We are getting punched in our face. One guy got stabbed up. Conductor Jenkins got stabbed up. Pregnant platform conductor punched in the stomach, 8 months. Her wrist twisted. You even had an officer choke out a young lady in the Bronx. A cop choke out a young lady in the Bronx. We aren't safe. We had a police officer arrest Daryl Goodwin, a station agent, because he didn't open the gate fast enough for this officer. Mr. Goodwin ended up dying because the power of the police made the MTA suspend Mr. Goodwin, made him stressed out, and he died of a heart attack. So let's deal with the facts. Are there cops in locker rooms and other hiding spots sleeping, bullshitting on their phones? Yes, they are. This is facts. You get mad at the truth, that's on you then. Are transit workers, are we getting our butts kicked out there? Yes, we are. So how can you expect a transit worker not to feel a way that one of our colleagues got beat up or whatever, and we seeing these officers hanging out in our room sleeping and all this other stuff? You expect us not to feel a way? You crazy if you think like that. I wouldn't, to be honest, if transit workers, if we wasn't getting our butt kicks out there, you could sleep all day. But that's not the truth. We getting our butt kicked out there, and you guys, not all of you guys, but you have a handful of officers that's not doing the right thing. They just aren't doing the right thing. Every transit worker that works on the train, they know this for a fact, that police officers just don't know the train signals. They don't know the long short. When RCC tells train crews to signal for police en route, you might as well just forget about it, because cops do not know the signals. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I was on, no, my fault, not 2 weeks ago, about 6 weeks ago, before I had went out, we was on a Q train, Lexington Avenue, 63rd, and I had a situation with a guy on my train. I called it in. RCC told me to signal for police en route. So my partner comes into the station, and he's signaling for the police. Signaling. The cop never came. The cop was in the booth. He didn't recognize the signal. Cops do not recognize the signals in the system. That's a problem within itself. So if you hear when I posted it yesterday, you have cops saying, hold on a second. You have cops saying, yeah, when we get calls of a 1013, basically officer of assistance. Other cops hear it and they react, and they hear this, they hear that. Well, train crews is something for the police to hear right there themselves too. Long short, they do not respond to that. They do not respond to that. Let me see something real quick. Okay. Yeah, they do not respond to that. So how do you expect us to feel? Are we supposed to turn a blind eye to seeing NYPD in our rooms when they supposed to be out there deterring crime, and as a result of them not deterring crime, we getting our butt kicks out there? Are we supposed to turn a blind eye to that? Now, another thing that cops like to do is they like to, let me see if I can put this up. I'm gonna put this up right now. They got something called CompStat. Now, for those who don't know, CompStat shows the statistics of crimes in certain precincts, certain districts, whatever the case is. So if you are having a lot of crime in your area, it shows that you can't keep crime down. So a lot of cops and commanding officers, they lie about these comp stats, and they choose not to arrest certain type of crimes because it shows that they not really policing their areas correctly, and it affects their promotion. So they lie on these comp stats reports. They lie on it. So they don't really want to be out there really policing. It's like out of sight, out of mind. You make a lot of arrests, you're not running an efficient system over there. If you need that quota number, because cops will tell you, if they lie, they know they BSing around. If they know that they have to make a certain amount of arrests a month. They know that. And if they don't, let me see something real quick. And if they don't, then they won't get that day off that they want. They won't get their vacation approved. This is the game that they play with the precinct, that they play on our lives. Let me see. Carly can start running, get started, flip. Trying to do something real quick, people. Yeah. So let me matter of fact, let me get this rep on the phone. Give me a second. Let me call him real quick. See if I could get him on the phone. Okay, give me 1 second. He's very passionate about this issue too. All right, yeah, let me get him on the phone. Give me 1 second.